And we're live. Sorry about that, folks. Had some audio issues. Yeah, let me check to see if we're live. How's everyone doing tonight on this lazy Sunday? Cool. Sweetums. The futures are balling. I saw that. What are some good reads? Maybe if you've read any Dostoevsky, I recommend Dostoevsky. When's the next video on GameStop? I'm working on it. I assume you mean just retard day traders. There's a follow-up to that video. Oh, damn, 52. Crack-a-lackin', everyone. So the plan for this stream is to make a few beats and then have some call-ins so I could talk to any one of you motherfuckers. Yeah, let's turn my mic up. That's a good idea. There we go. I think that looks right. Oh, it looks like Alex is waiting. So yeah, I mean, I didn't receive too many people hitting me up, wanting to call in. I get it though. Streaming is, I wouldn't want to jump on a stream with a random degenerate either. So, let's see where we're working here. Working with you. Where's my chat at? Y'all got to see my recommenders there. Oops. There we go. See if I can pop this out. Appreciate you, Matt. Yeah, I do make the beats myself. Oh, you bought into Cardano? Cardano? I'm not that intelligent, man. It's okay. I don't have my current setup, so I don't know how I might have to change that real time. See if I can get chat easily in view. I'll just do this. That works. You have a Zoom interview tomorrow, man? Good luck, bro. I've never done one of those. That's pretty wild. What's the job for? You're gonna be a bank teller? The simulation is getting boring. When are we getting our Kamala Banker Award? I don't know what that may be. Yeah, man, I think shit's gonna pop off. I just don't know how or what. I started making a beat last night while I was in a VC on the Discord. I don't remember this. It may be good. We'll have to finish it. Okay, it's boring, but it's got some potential. Watson is pretty hot, not gonna lie. I probably shouldn't have opened up Omnisphere. Fuck. Maybe I'll be here for a little bit. How's everyone's Sunday? Turn the bass down. No, man. I haven't used Omnisphere in a minute. You know what? Someone said in Vital something about horns. There's a preset called horn something. Throw in a loop. Let's just speed it along, see what we want. Nah, that sounds way familiar. Any Adderall tonight? No. Oh fuck, I'm missing out on all the Here, I need to grab the laptop, man. I'm gonna miss out on this chat. Give me 1 second. Apologies. Sorry about that. Looks like that's not gonna work. Make a beat that's like bum bum bum. I really need a second screen or something. Fuck it. I like that better. All right, let me see if I can get the chat. I'm so ill prepared. Look, I'm just fashionably late to my own stream. Don't even have chat pulled up. I love it. Do I work with any artists? Not at the moment. I haven't in quite some time. Tar's my last name. What pack did I buy for them loops? No, I don't. Yeah, don't do that. I just find random shit all the time. I try not to use loops at all, but as I said, I'm ill prepared. That's not even in the right key. Fuck it. Fuck this beat. I'm gonna start a new one. I just died in your arms tonight. Quickly, we need a snare. Okay. May have to change that sample out. I don't feel like time stretching it. Dante the Rapper. Appreciate the 5, man. I do make all the beats. Start selling licenses. If you jump on Patreon, bro, all the beats that are in the videos are they're up on Patreon for anyone to use. Royalty free. And then I got a BeatStars. I should upload that more, but no one even looks at it, so. Atara is Iraqi. My understanding is it's kind of ubiquitous in the Middle East as a surname. And chatting with you, sir. That's right. I don't have a Weeble affiliate link. That's right, I have sampled 2 Girls, 1 Cup before. I guess you can't. You know, if you're streaming on YouTube, you can't use samples from from mostly everything. So we're just gonna have to.
Raise your hands.
Not that. We're not doing that. Kind of like that. I don't really use cymatics all that much, but this usually crashes FL, so there we go. Alright. Oh, let's take that boring ass 808 off there. Yeah, if anyone wants to chat with me, man, just go on Discord, find my name, well, join my server, join the server. Oh shit, did I miss a bunch? Western Union money orders. Dear viewer, do you call me? And if anyone doesn't know, every beat sounds like shit until it's done. Usually. Or it starts coming together. And then you end up fucking it up. Ooh, wait. What if we did? Doesn't really fit, but is it Dookie? Thoughts on the New York Times saying not to go down the rabbit hole of crypto, or is that irrelevant to you? Yeah, it's just, bro, I don't know what's... The New York Times has really fallen off in the past, like, decade. It's just, it's pretty sad. He used to be the pillar of, the Fourth Estate, especially in the 70s. But when am I dropping new videos? Arr! Yeah, I'm working on one. I'm working on 3 at the moment, so here soon. Age. I don't know what that command means. I'm throwing in an exception. Oh yeah, I got some Scotch right here. That's right. Did I go to school for this? No. I'm a high school dropout, bro. Looks like we got a couple people in the couple supporters and patrons in the bar, so we're gonna have to hop in there in like 15 minutes. Probably talk about the downfall of society. Got some newcomers. That's good. Do you ever take a break? Not really. I mean, I'm lying. I did. I enjoyed myself over the holidays for like a good 2 weeks. I had a vacation, and the vacation just consisted of getting super stoned and playing video games. I never play video games, man. It's been it was nice. What do I think of the American education system as a whole? Deeply flawed, but I don't have too many opinions on it because we did a impromptu Discord stream on the second channel, and that was the very topic, was the American education system. So if you want to hear some cool stuff about that, you can jump in the second channel, and it's there. Am I holding any of the stonks? I'm holding some stonks, yes. You don't get the point of my videos. Oh yeah, you know what? I don't know why, but your name pops out. I rarely check my comments, but when I do, some things get stuck. You're the one who was American Lies Part 3, the Fed portion. You're like, what is the point of this video? As if it wasn't self-evident. Yeah, you've been playing video games too much. It's gonna sound cringy, but if you learn to code, or if you learn some kind of design thing, or you learn making beats, anything that's on a screen but similar to playing video games, like that is if you shift into that, you may find yourself being as equally as entertained or in a meditative state that you would be in playing video games. So what games do I play? I've been playing Fallout New Vegas a lot, so it's an old ass game, but I love it. And then other than that, usually Total War. I can get down on some Total War. Very good memory. Yeah, man, it comes and goes. I got a really selective goldfish memory. I'll remember the randomest shit, like exact numbers and statistics from the shit I read like 5 years ago, but I don't even remember what I just told my girlfriend like a couple of hours ago. I don't know what we had to eat. New Vegas is way better than 4, dude. You're an illustrator for video games, actually. Hell yeah, man. So that doesn't even apply to you. Yeah. I don't know, man. Just do burpees. Get your life in order. Get after it. 4:30 in the morning. Just wake up. Start swinging around a kettlebell. Eating Brussels sprouts and rare steak. Who's a bigger sentient lug nut, hedge funds, or a loud cat person? He's not that loud, man. I really like that guy. I said it when we were watching the hearing. I'm proud of him because, like, I mean, think about it. Anyone in his position, imagine if you're just catapulted to that level of success and notoriety in such a short amount of time, just because of your position, your positions in your trading portfolio. And then now the whole nation's looking at you. Most people would just start fucking breaking down. I know I would. And you know, he stuck true. Knows what he's knows what he's talking about. Is honest. I really ramped up the autism in the last. Yeah, that was the goal, man. You should see all this shit I cut out, man. That's going in the follow up to that. What do you think of Charles Manson? Crazy guy. Other than drawing furry porn, the one day of the week I have time, I play COD for an hour. There you go. Hey, drawing furry porn, I hear, is really lucrative. I've just been off with the beat making recently, so we're gonna have to fix that either with this one or the next one. Boom. We're gonna need to put a cut. I really don't have anything else that I can think of with this. See, if I had a second screen, I could, I can hide a bunch of shit. Beats. Where are they at? There they are. Stop looking. You're not allowed to see any of this. How long have I been making beats? Probably like 8 years. I know I said yesterday like 6 years, but that's because I have no concept of time. Did it just not load? Oh, I played this yesterday. Hold up. This beat's really stupid. Might get me pulled off YouTube because of the Ghost in the Shell sample. Appreciate you, Custodes Dreadnought. It's really kind words. I'm making you fiend for some nicotine. Bro, just do some burpees, alright? Don't even think about it. It's almost too loud of a bass. I made this shit like years ago. You could tell, like, what is this? What does that even mean? Kick left, right. Instead of mixing correctly, I just layered a bunch of shit for no reason. It's got a nice groove, but it's really amateur. beat's called Epstein. I guess we'll see why here in a second. Oh yeah, because it didn't hang itself. Yeah, the next video is Imagine a World Without Encryption. See, we got a lot of people that joined the server, but no one with enough courage to at me. I'm just kidding. Don't at me. I'm lost in Las Vegas. Trying to think of what beat we should make. What if we did some trap metal? I remember this beat. Shit sounds like a bad trip. You got a cold? I feel you, bro. I've been dealing with sinus shit like all day. Thoughts on March 19th, GME, D-Day crashing the market, and I'm not even gonna read the rest of that. You, sir, your brain has smoothed over. Nah, the market's gonna crash. I just don't know when. No one does. Sometimes it's the little things that make a beat bump. We can look through these beats. This one. This beat's gonna go up on BeatStars. So if anyone wants to cop it, it is there. Well, it will be there, is what I'm saying. Yes, Josh. What type of genre would I call my music? Retard trap. No, I'm just kidding. This is some overdose music. I guess that's this genre. That's a weird switch up. I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess after some conversation, maybe we'll come back to making some beats. Maybe I'll get inspired, intellectually steamrolled. What do you think will happen when the debt crisis hits critical? I don't know what you mean by that. There's different sectors of debt. Could be corporate debt. Could be all the debt under the sun. If that were to ever happen, the best investment would be brass and lead. So. Oh, you know what? Someone on my Discord said this was the best beat they've ever heard in their lives, and I don't understand why they said that. So I'll let y'all be the judge. Pilot Red Sun. Where have I fucking heard that before? That's the animator, right? And he uses like this really obscure animation program. Something's off with this. Man, my FL's been acting funny recently. I don't know why that is. Do 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 do. Appreciate you, Toby. What do I do for a living? Mainly freelance work, and then this. What's up, Bio Barry? How you doing, bro?
Fuck you.
Fuck you. How do you support me? You cradle me like a baby. No, I'm just kidding. Patreon, generally. There's a bunch of good goodies there. Unreleased videos. What the fuck? Okay. Okay. Go big. Go big. All right, let's jump in that Patreon Discord call that's apparently going on right now. So you know what I'm saying. When he said, "What the," I felt that, yeah, man. From the sale of feet pics on the fans, bro, my feet pics are priceless. Stop asking. God damn it. I pedicure my toes to such an exquisite degree. No likes of man should see them. Oh, damn, Toby. Okay. All right. What is that little animated emoji? What is that? Appreciate the 50 though, bro. If you find a way to hit me up, I'll send you. If you don't want to do the Patreon shit, I'll send you a bunch of unreleased videos. That's how I usually do it. How old am I? Big zoomer on the beat. I am 24. I had to think about it for a second. So that's like the cusp end of zoomer, but all right, yeah. We're jumping in that Discord call. That's right. No. Oh, they just left. You guys, y'all can't do this when I'm on stream. Dude, you put me on the spot, bro. What the fuck? Now I gotta start entertaining the masses. How's everyone doing?
Better now.
Yeah,
great now that I got to watch Salty sit there for a while.
Bro, you know I'm Boomer. Of course, I was going to be the delay.
Yeah.
God damn, bro, you have... I was about to call out your DMs. You have Metal Snake in your goddamn DMs.
Oh yeah, that's Kino. He's gonna jump on the stream here in a little bit. We're gonna talk about movies.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Yeah. He's the only he's one of the only film snobs that I actually like. So he's got his own little YouTube. If anyone wants to catch it, I'll post a link when he comes on.
Is he better than Found Flicks?
Oh, 10 times, a million times better. So, what's the topic, gents? What are we doing? How many people we got watching?
74.
Don't drop the ball.
Yeah, I'm doing tab management. I'm shuffling around here.
Nice.
We could always go back to the conversation of dangerous areas to walk around. Phoenix, apparently. Salty.
What? What did I just hear? What just entered my ears?
They were racially profiling people. Can you believe that? In this server, in this day and age.
We live in a society.
Damn. Get a load of this society.
We can hop in about the Patreon only sex video from Atar.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that because I assume that everyone watching has not seen that video, so that'd be the perfect topic. we could just you know we could just edge them. We can just edge them to the point where like this sounds so interesting. How do I watch this video?
How do I get in on this club?
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate that that foundation won't be there, but
Yeah, I mean,
it'll make sense after watching it. You know,
it's a Patreon video only for good reason. I mean, to me, it's like I've explained it before. It's the prequel to What Did Zeus Say to Narcissus, where it's like
you are a narcissist in the video, correct? If my memory serves me correctly.
the naked blonde guy at the end. No, that's not me. I wish that was me. That dude is toned. That dude is handsome. I'm just kidding.
I still have that picture.
Well, this is the prequel before he gets toned. So
Yeah. But no. What specifically do you want? I know since you're more towards the right, you're gonna be like it's the fall of Rome. So this is.
I don't know why you say that.
I'm just fucking with you.
No, I was gonna bring it to the topic of abundance. I had a weird thought, and I figured that if there was a group to run it over with.
Okay, what's the thought? Hit us, sweet prince.
So I think it's pretty commonly accepted that there's a routine of toxicity that requires a healthy, albeit painful, destruction. So, for example, we see it in nature with forest fires. I remember talking to a ranger one time hiking with an ex, and this was before that Smokey lied to us all. And the ranger was describing the forest fires were actually quite helpful, and healthy. A chance to regenerate, so that the ecosystem can come back instead of choking itself out of life. Anyways, I think
have you ever listened to any of Brett Weinstein's Dark Horse podcast that he does with his wife Heather Hine?
Nope.
It's all right.
Yeah. So I just bring that up because they were talking about this exact topic for a couple of weeks while the fires were going on out west. They're talking about. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
well,
you're fine.
Well, I was gonna rein that in and kind of pull it towards. I think that concept is still applicable in we're nature, and that whole idea of something growing to the point where it's toxic to itself, and then requires some type of culling or cleansing, some type of destruction, which is probably going to be painful and seems extremely, negative, is actually a net.
Some kind of
positive
population hit is what you're getting at.
I mean, sure, that's been discussed. Like I was saying, this concept I feel like is really ingrained in us as a species. It's just which direction you want to.
The concept of like eschatology, where it's like the eschatology meaning like the study of the end times, but really what that is like every human has this ingrained sense that the end times are among us, that things are getting progressively worse. Not
necessarily. I'd actually argue that this might be the opposite of that, in that the whole circle of things. If we were to totally take any type of spiritual or religious aspect out of it and just look at it as a functioning organism, a cleansing needs to happen.
If I could ask you a question, would you mind changing maybe the definition of this for maybe abundance to a self-regulating system? Because that's what I think you're getting at. Like when the forests become bloated, they might burn off the excess to help regulate the natural state of things there, and that's where you kind of see this, among civilization too. If there's excess of anything, it regulates itself by trying to either take it down a certain amount. that's where, you might see a lot of things in the boom bust cycle and economics too. Is, booms and busts are trying to maybe correct for a certain other state, and it's trying to find that equilibrium. But things cannot always naturally exist at an equilibrium constantly. So that's kind of where it's self-regulating. Because if the forest was able to grow and have the trees decompose at a steady state of rate, we might not have these intense forest fires. But with all that brush buildup on the ground too, this is just kind of its version of a bust cycle instead of the boom that you get after a forest burns down and all the trees and new growth comes up after it. Am I kind of on the right track with what you're getting at?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really interesting thing to think about, just because trees are replicating our issues with like handling social issues. Because if you go through James C. Scott's like Seeing Like a State, that's one of the things that he focuses on first was forestry and the cycle of forests burning themselves down to get rid of underbrush that suffocates things, as Salty was going over, and then the preening that we did when we set up our industrial farms of, planting plots of trees and everything, and then going in and preening all the brush ourselves, and over manicuring and then killing the ecosystems within through our own,
because of our involvement. Yeah. I mean, you hear that often, like any effort that we try to do to like, we put a species on the endangered species list, or remove wolves from Yosemite Park because they, and then realizing that it just completely disrupts the ecosystem as itself. Like, our involvement is that was just my immediate thought.
I wanted to loop it back. Alex hit 4 or 5 different things that I was actually going to branch off on, but one of them was particularly potent, and this was kind of going to be the loop around back to the original video. So the biggest example that we have of this, of a system that didn't self-correct, would be, of course, Rome. And we've talked about this, at length before, but applying it to that particular video, and for context of those who haven't actually seen it, it's basically painting. And mind you, you may interpret it differently. I think it's very wide open for that, but
it is.
But the extreme level of decadence that it very potently painted can be applied to ourselves right now. Definitely Rome. Yeah,
I mean, things we've talked about just personally and privately is people view decadence as like some kind of a cultural mutation or permeation, and I view it more. Its origin is usually economic. For instance, one thing that a lot of conservatives like to point out, culturally speaking now, is the advent of like OnlyFans and young women trending towards that direction. But if you think of it as like a decay in moral values and self-worth, and therein by further if you follow that, diminishing the family unit and this and that. But what predates that? Why would young women, usually college aged, be incentivized towards OnlyFans? Because of the purchasing power decrease over time has essentially quelled and incentivized women to go down that route. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you have a massive debt looming over your head, if you have the means in which to potentially create more capital for yourself by doing something as simple as taking a picture of your titties and sending it to some fucking chud, like that's easy money. Why wouldn't people are incentivized towards easy money all the time? That's why we got scammers. That's why we got
I wouldn't necessarily chalk that just up to the financial gains either. Right, because there's a lot of other narratives that are kind of going on in this world now that have allowed this to be an appropriate kind of thing. So I mean, we've lost a lot of our social conservatism that we've had in the past, for better or for worse.
That's a fantastic thing to point out, but also a brilliant way to form the conversation as well, because you can tie porn, filth, and obscenity to death of the author, as well as amusing ourselves to death, where porn, filth, and obscenity overall was a view of the degradation of cultural idea. Well, not degradation, the new formation of cultural ideas, as was also death of the author, which is why I don't really agree with the overarching idea, where like he starts getting into the reevaluation of everything means that there is no creativity, and because everything is just a echo of itself. The main identifying feature of like the author no longer matters. It's the work, the recontextualization of the information, and same thing with amusing ourselves to death with the proliferation of television, and that being the new source of quote unquote education and curriculum for most people, and the reshaping of things. So I mean, I would just keep all the different aspects in mind as well as you're moving forward with the conversation.
But even you want to, Alex, you brought up a loss of conservatism. I mean, I think my argument still stands that you could draw upon a lot of economic factors that would make people's minds collectively change, just because it's like,
Yeah. So I think what
if I may,
you're saying.
Go ahead, Alex. No.
Okay, I think what you were getting at there, Atar, is that a lot of our narrative based around our well-being financially is based around the values that we've been eschewing at any point of boom to credit it towards the kind of financial success that anyone may be having in the moment.
Right.
You might go into a sense of downturn. That's what causes moral turmoil and panic and saying we need to shake things up in the system.
Yeah.
I was just simply inferring to multi-factors of roadblocks that might have been there that didn't cause this to happen at a before state than it might be now. I guess I was just going for more of a direct approach at the specific roadblocks that might have stopped OnlyFans from becoming a thing that it is now, and as not 5 or 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, that's interesting too when you look at the way that OnlyFans came to be, just because of the way that they played their hand very carefully. And I think it played off really, really well for them, where they didn't release any of their financial information, like at all, and still aren't. And thus, in that sense, are able to hide a lot of what people may feel is the issue with it, where it's like, well, how much money are people making from this? What is the trade-off for that moral degradation?
Yeah, and
like $145 a month for showing your titties to your like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And to someone's point in the chat here on YouTube, I noticed they said it's not a loss of conservatism, it's a change in moral values. And I mean, I agree with that too. I was just pointing out that this is more of a conservative system that America's been in the past too, especially when it comes to sexuality. And I'm not saying that any of these changes are better or worse specifically, but when we start throwing away everything and just saying there should be no standard, and we kind of start cutting out the conversation of what is right or wrong, that's when things start to get real wonky.
Yeah.
To respond to what that guy's saying, though, aren't those two things saying the same thing in this particular context?
Yes and no. I think he says the values are changing. I just think it's being abolished.
Away from conservative.
Yeah, it's away from conservative. But it's implying the morals are changing means they're going to be something else. I think they're just going away.
Well, I mean, I think the whole point of arguing it's moving away from this political faction to this political faction that holds these quote unquote ideals.
Oh shit! Are we gonna start talking about pendulums again?
I actually
I do love some pendulum.
No, see, listen.
It's
Peter,
hypergraphical in nature. No one could. I'm just kidding.
I don't want you to
vibrating against each other. These oscillations.
Yeah.
What happens when that friction?
I don't. In no way am I trying to get this party is better than the other party. Conservatism at the actual concept, not the political party.
Right.
But what does the concept mean?
I'm gonna go grab some ice. I'll be right back.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that at length. That's an entirely different topic. Defining conservatism versus.
Well, I mean, we don't need to. What I'm saying is that that's a age-old just form of rhetoric that means that my values are no longer being represented in the culture that I see that provides the most stability. And that's kind of just like a, well, what do you mean by that kind of thing? Because your values that you take away from the Republican Party or from the Conservative Party are totally different. So what I was going to like go into with that statement, because why I answered yes and no, is that the moral, I guess if you want to call it Overton window or landscape, whatever you want to say, has just been changing. You also have the fact that there are people that are changing the moral landscape just because progressive idealism is, it's like progress for progress sake kind of thing. And how do you go about addressing that? Because progressive to be progressive means that you just don't, things trend to change over time towards the other direction. So like you might as well just already be there instead of being the loser in history.
Right.
Yeah, and subjecting yourself to infinite change and saying that nothing's ever right or good enough. If you aren't moving in any direction with it's not good enough and it's just nothing is ever right, and you just throw yourself into chaos and then you essentially end up with nothing. If you aren't striving towards some kind of right, or at least a more right or more optimal direction, I guess is a better way of putting it, then you ultimately end up in just a void of chaos.
Because I mean, even the unfortunate reality is going back, being kind of more reactionary is a lot more difficult, because if you look at Christianity as its general basis nowadays, it's tied to profitability to such a degree that that's hard to even be the escape back. Just because the message changed from like, be all that you can be for God, you're never good enough for yourself as a man, self-suffrage, fucking BDSM type shit, to you know,
pay for tithes to get you better, get cut in line on the way to heaven.
Yeah, and they focus on the economic side of your life a lot more, because if they can satisfy your economic side of your life,
thank you, Benedict the Second.
Yeah.
Fucking bastard.
Yeah. And the thing with religion too, that was the prominent part, is it is something that does transcend whatever your current humanly state could be. Because when you start appealing to anything supernatural, whether it's any religion or something, and I'm not meaning supernatural in any kind of a derogatory way here, right. Any kind of appeal to anything that's beyond the reality that's present before you, and you've especially got a scripture to guide throughout time. That's something that you can use as an objective statement to keep driving you in a certain direction. And when those things go away, you know, that's the whole Nietzsche God is dead thing, and how he wasn't necessarily saying that's necessarily a good thing, because it kind of throws everyone into ethical dilemmas, which is kind of like what people are talking about in this chat right here. Someone was saying, do you think that hypersexuality was somewhat always there? It could have been, but it was always checked with the conversation about. It was.
I mean, look at Victorianism.
Morals.
Victorianism was that check, and it was extreme and broad. And then when you have suppressive societies, people get fucking freaky behind the scenes. I mean,
okay, but what's on the opposite side of that? When you have
freakiness is out in the open.
Hold on though. There's an utterly
not being thought of
society.
Freakiness is out in the open, and no one's being mindful of it. The mindfulness part is the thing that is a big crux of my argument in that video, is that, you know, we've taken all these steps forward, yet we haven't looked back at the steps that we took. We didn't look at the stones in which our feet, you know, up the stairs that we climbed. We're here now, and it's just progress without any sense of looking back at the progress that we've made and thinking about it and understanding it effectively. I mean,
you could apply that to humans time immemorial. We can consistently forget history, and then
Well, I mean,
this is where
you say that though. I mean, even it's like 150 years ago, that's not really the case.
I say you could probably forget history even easier 150 years ago, because you don't have the tools such as the internet. I mean, your average person.
Well, I mean, the internet.
You're getting a different scope of the world. You're not getting.
Yeah.
And plus, it was usually the higher classes that had access to, better means of education. But I mean,
Right.
you're talking about
No,
but even like
That's
250.
not entirely true.
200.
The U.S. was incredibly literate.
Of course,
But,
yeah. But I mean, what I meant like what I meant specifically by that. I mean, if you look at the Enlightenment movement, right? It was like a higher class taking all these leaps forward in like the knowledge sphere, and what came out of that is also a rewriting of history.
right.
The people,
Which is exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like even if you have the means to remember your history, people trend towards to look through it with a modernist perspective, or that current perspective, and then just cloud it in entirely, and that's just a failure of like historiography.
But you know what does live
someone-
on? The rhetoric. So that's
Yep.
the point I was leaning towards earlier, with
Yep.
involving the rhetoric and understanding the points behind the rhetoric and pushing it to a new direction.
Right.
Go ahead, Al.
And someone in the chat here said it's all made up by us. Man, morality is fake and made of nonsense. It depends on what hell world you want to live in. And even taking that perspective of what hell world you want to live in too, certain values that whatever your culture or community may espouse that you live in does shape the behavior of people. Even if it's from a non-governmental force, if it's a community belief, it'll shape kind of the values that you live in. And if your hell gets so bad to where the majority of your community doesn't want to be in that hell, you can shape whatever values you want. You can believe it's going to be different. You can say that's not reality, but it's going to manifest itself differently. And to kind of wrap that back around, that's what Salty was first talking about with self-regulating systems. It all can come full circle back around.
Revolution.
Well, just to address that comment, I mean, to what end does that actually matter, though? I mean, we see morality systems that are created in chimps, for fuck's sake.
Mhm.
If we create a morality
That could be
system, does that make it inherently wrong? I don't
And
think that just
that's the importance
dismisses
of ethics, especially if you overlay it over like a systemology, right? Then it's like it's not a conscious affair. Like when you just said, you see moral systems arising in apes and other primates, that could be just anthropomorphizing. That could be a failure of doing science. I mean, Jane Goodall was a excellent example of that. And
But could you call it at least codified behavior still?
Yeah,
no, I'm
of
not
course.
talking. I'm not talking about some
Yeah.
cartoonish view of what's occurring in the trees. I'm saying that they actually
No.
created some form of currency, and that the chimps were deciding what do we do with this? Because every time they turned in a chip, they'd get a banana or whatever the hell.
Yeah, and that's
And they started to create a system around that.
But it begs the question: it's not they creating the system; it's the system as an emergence.
System as being emergent.
Yeah. And that's what I argue is what capitalism actually is an emergent system of trading notation.
Regardless, I don't think that dismisses the fact that if humans created a morality system, does that necessarily mean that it's meaningless?
No.
Of course not.
I mean, well, it only depends to how much meaning you ascribe to anything.
All words are made up.
Yeah, I
Alex's
mean,
point,
even to that point, like, still, that changes nothing. If everything's made up, I mean,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
it changes nothing.
Right, because functionality is immediately espoused. Like, then you can go to the utilitarian side, and that's doesn't false
You
flag.
still can't.
Which is
Even if even if we're living in a simulation, well, I still can't deny
Brother.
the limitations of the simulation I'm living in right now. I still can't walk
we're
through
on
the
the
wall of
same-
my simulation.
Yeah,
we're on the same damn wavelength. I was just about to say, fucking, despite us
Yeah.
possibly living in a sin.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's you can live in it with the worldview of determinism, like just hard determinism, but our systems in how we operate in society are compatibilist in nature. We still have to act like there is free will, right?
So do you
Whenever
guys
we're-
view,
Wittgenstein has entered the chat.
so do you guys view computers as the next television as far as the medium of
Oh, it already
information
is, bro.
being too
It
much,
already-
or is it
the
is it
internet-
useful? To,
The internet killed television, man. Like that, it did
Are you-
that in 2010.
Are you in 2000, Peter?
Yeah.
no, I'm trying. No, because
You've been reading too much Moldbug, huh? Your reactionary side has caught up to you.
We must all return. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting point that Alex had brought up earlier, where it's like computers provide a higher benefit. So I was just curious where you guys lay on that side. I don't know.
I lay on my back. Just let it
That's
happen.
fair
Let it
enough.
wash over me. You know. No, it's you know, it's important to just be as passive as possible, and that's why, and just enjoy the banana. You know, just let it all happen. Memes. Is that the end of the conversation?
Yeah,
So
I'll let you guys get back to your whole Rome decline conversation. Sorry.
I mean, it's a tried and true topic. It's just, you know, I have my immediate doubts.
So you don't think that we're
And I mean,
headed
I
for-
don't.
You don't think we're headed for the burning?
No,
Oh well, I do. Well,
I mean,
I
burning
define burning.
as a civilization,
I mean-
like Nero playing the fiddle. That was supposed to be Trump, right?
I mean, how
I
would
know.
we? How would we? You know, a modern day burning of Rome is obviously not going to look the same.
Of course not, and that's why I don't think the analogy stands whatsoever. I mean, especially when the Rome is such a monolith that so many leaders and thought leaders and nations and regimes have pointed to and tried to emulate, and it's a common thing to go back to. But to compare Rome today to America today, you often the conservatives don't have the monopoly on that, because then you know, usually the people trend more towards the left. They point out the similarities between Roman imperialism and American imperialism, but for the conservatives, like the degradation of the fabric of society, right? In Rome, you had two classes, right? The plebeians and the patricians, right? And the patricians were like, you know, what if you were to equate it today, it's what Bernie's rambling about the, you know, the top 1%. But the patricians were numerous in number, and the different class interplays that happened between the plebeians and the patricians was, you can't, that the culture and the operations within Rome, if you try to compare it to today, it kind of falls flat almost on every measure. Plus, we're not getting sacked by the Huns currently, and there's not and Scientology hasn't made a comeback. So
not that I'm hyper, you know, attached to this analogy, but just two clarifications. One, I'd say not necessarily America, but the Western world in general. Given how connected we are, I think that's probably a fair.
Right, but then what is?
It's definitely well off in its own right to be analyzed in a lot of ways by itself, just because, I mean, we have a culture that is hard to identify literally anywhere else, so approaching our problems is vastly different.
I mean, that's fair. But I also don't
Broncos
think that
brothers.
it's far-fetched to say the Western world in general, as we seem to be more and more connected daily.
Well, I mean, if you go into the whole emergent idea that Atara was bringing up with capitalism, it's just kind of the way that we have to follow. So I do see what you're saying. Do you have any specific examples about the, I guess, EU
connectivity between the EU and us?
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, we can get onto globalism, but before we even start talking about that, I'd also say that as far as to respond to Atara's point, you know, falling flat as far as these specific examples, sure.
I mean,
I
but
think
even in a general sense,
right, in a general perspective, we're looking at a massive superpower that controls such a vast amount that it's almost incomparable. Of course, we do have China rising, but
Kublai Khan, yeah.
But that extreme level of societal feeling of safety, we've passed the point of having these purposeful wars. Where in general, you can look at this person, your average person, who's really they have most of their needs taken care of. There is no great struggle. There, we're basically at a loss for purpose, so we find it in decadence and pleasure seeking, which is equatable. That we can turn back and look at. It's the same shit that was happening there.
Right, but there's been societies that have came and went prior, or actually,
of course there have. Of course there have.
That were incredibly deviant and successful.
And we could probably make ties there too. I'm just saying Rome in particular just stands out in that it had such a vast grasp. And likewise, we do. We have bases in how many goddamn countries, like that video that was recently posted.
Yeah, by Johnny Harris. Good guy.
Right.
Thank you, Petey, for bringing me awareness to that guy.
I had his video on the mines. And there's a lot of interesting points in there that apply to this conversation. But go ahead, Sweetie.
Yeah.
Or,
Sweetie!
I'm going to go ahead and kick Peter now.
All right, honeydew. Come on, pumpkin.
No,
what are you going to say next?
I feel like that there are the core principles still apply, and yeah, of course, there are other empires that have risen and fallen that we can point to that have reached the level of decadence, but the parallels seem much more compelling. With the vast reach, with the level of decadence that they reached, because they had nothing to do anymore. They started to make up things, and look what we're doing right now. We're making shit up. We're making struggles up because we don't have a real one.
That is, yes, right. But that has been the case since.
I think we have real struggles, but the thing is, no one wants to tackle them. So in order to feel like we're making progress against our real struggles, we make them bullshit proxy struggles.
We create parallel narratives that or adjacent narratives, and then attack those. Which is, I blame that on like the RPG nature of virtualization and how everyone's personality is like a more consciously crafted form on the internet. But that's beside the point. There is no metric for decadence. There's nothing you could point to and say that is decadence, and like verifiable.
Well, we talked about that before too.
To me, decadence is just economic unfurrowing, and I
did want to tie it to that. I think when you structure the economic thing, that was the perfect foundation for it.
Yeah,
the economic thing has to be there for it to occur. But
yeah,
hold on.
To me, the economic is the most important part. Everything else is just it's like the pendulum swinging in a hypergraphic realm. No one can really point to the things and describe them as so, because it exists outside of our perception. But that's again.
When you say the economic realm, one of the things I was thinking about is does it really matter the actual economic realm or the perceived economic realm?
I think the actual economic realm is one of the only. That's the thing that matters. The perceived is.
It's the thing that matters, but the thing that matters to most people, I think, is the perceived.
It matters to most people without them even realizing it, and that's the perception part, right? So it's like, economic turmoil that is behind the scenes, like, real inflation, and then also decrease in purchasing power, that affects everyone without, like, in different permutations, without them even being aware of it,
Yeah. Oh, I guess I was getting around to more of the things like the media saying we created 1 million new jobs this week, and then everyone gets jumping all over themselves about what weird misinterpretations there about what they think the economy actually is.
Right.
The S&P 500 is up 1,000 points today, like stuff like that. I really don't know how well coupled the masses' perception of the economy is compared to the actual economy.
Right.
And that's not to say like I even have the most accurate grasp of the economy either, but it's just how many degrees away is the average person's perception of the actual economy compared to their perception of it.
And that's a very serious issue, because I mean that was the whole reason that Milton Friedman started the Free to Choose network. Well, participated with the Free to Choose network and made his whole series on there, was the fact that like economics really isn't that hard to grasp. Like and people have the idea nowadays, and like that's where I was curious how your idea would kind of formulate, because a lot of people just think about, and we got into this conversation before, where economics is just the movement of money. It's like it's the movement of all resources, and those resources extend past just physical things that you can move, like keep in mind. They're abstractions as well. And I mean, that's kind of why I brought up the whole computer and television point, because it's still like 120 million people in the US spend almost like 4 hours of their day every day watching television. And then you also had journalistic institutions following in the path of television, where especially the American public was fixated on ideas of like quick moving ideas, these images replacing the background images don't have to have a relation to what is being said, and then titles, like the fucking headlines of journals, they don't have to be in relation, so there's that decontextualization of what information is being passed on.
Right.
So I was curious if with the use of the computer you guys see that as a viable workaround, or if it's still just another trap, because it's still a lot of decontextualized information.
Yeah, I think it's even.
Yeah, I think it's another trap.
I think it's more of a trap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's high noise, low information environment, and currently there's nothing on the table to triage or even attempt to fix that.
But that's a huge point that I'm going to be trying to focus on the whole language conversation, is like when we had the school conversation, the advancement, and if you follow the path of television and computers in school, television was used in the Bill Nye sense, where it was like, haha, funny blue man rubs blue and teaches me about friction. But we're coming into the age where, and you've brought up this point too, where Zoomers are able to just be ingrained in that lifestyle of like decontextualizing and analyzing the decontextualized information in the postmodern sense of like breaking apart nothing,
right,
and formulating and identifying meaning out of that.
Yeah, the one of the more interesting points too I heard today, I was listening to Brett Weinstein and Daniel Schmachtenberger's conversation that they had too, and they were talking about
I love that guy,
a lot of these issues. Yeah, but I was listening to some of their points about misinformation too, but they also brought up the other point too of fact checking only has so much utility as well, because you can come up with a false premise that's backed up by true facts, but those true facts might not be an entire picture of what the appropriate inputs would be in order for you to arrive at that conclusion. So you could come up with some crazy tax policy that you could have cited, 20 facts behind it to back you up. And if you put that through a fact checker, you'd be like, yep, this all checks out. But you might have ignored these other 80 facts out there that you failed to mention that would have put it at odds with your other facts. So it could all be bunk anyway.
Yeah.
So that's where it's really tricky to assemble any kind of structure or thought structure today with the information that's proved to, because with the computer, it's all sped up faster, and there's no really good way of checking how people formulated their beliefs, and it's all over the place. Which I'm not saying we ever were really good at that before, but it's even doubly to whatever exponent harder now with the internet too.
Right. And on that note, I'm gonna grab some more ice.
Right on.
Well, and like continuing off that, it's interesting when you look at the way that politics has evolved alongside our communication, because with even you could go as far back to the telegraph, but I mean we'll stick to television and modern journalistic institutions where those little bite-sized decontextualized, because like misinformation, to go ahead and clarify, isn't wrong information. It's exactly what you just laid out. It's not having all the bits, the actual epistemology of the information provided, or it's not relevant. In television and journalism embraces that. So the old politicians, the way that they had to go about it, where people were generally informed as to what policy and politics, what things were being signed into, were actually about, especially because things were much more relevant to you on a communal scale opposed to the federal scale. So now when things are talked about in the media, you don't have to have that contextualization, and politicians don't have to put in that work to their rhetoric either, because the time scale has also changed, where we talk about like the whole TikTok epidemic, where it's like, how long are TikToks? 30 seconds?
I don't know. I'm not a Zoomer.
Yeah, and then like the average television scene is only up for 35 seconds, and it has to have rapid movement and have sound under it. So why not play into that as a politician? Like, and that only benefits you as well. And I mean, it's not even, some politicians might want to actually speak more in depth on things, like good old Yang Bang, but with that kind of format, what the fuck are you supposed to do? Like the presidential debates, some guy comes up and sits in a chair and he asks random questions that nobody actually gives a shit about. And they give us random packaged answers that are just supposed to satisfy your emotion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
sound bites.
What about sound bites? Sorry, I only heard you say the word sound bites.
Ergo sound bites.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so TikToks are only 10 to 20 seconds.
I mean, Diego's right, though. The limit is like 1 minute you can make. I've seen a few 1 minute TikToks here and there. Dude, not gonna lie, I'm probably not gonna go on TikTok anytime soon, unless it's, people keep fucking selling shit on my name. But the algos that they have to keep you engaged with that app are so fucking smart. It's scary. Like they develop that app very well. Those Chinese. But we still need to fucking bash it with a hammer. Fucking TikTok's cancer, man.
I might have to agree with that.
Zoom. That's why we call it Zoomers, man. Fast everything. Yeah. So
all right.
What's the I think we could wrap that topic up. What's the next one? What's your heart's desire? Jesus? Beezilla says Jesus. We can start talking about Jesus.
I don't know how well that conversation will go over.
Merch, not doing it, man. I will sell my books, bro.
Probably merch.
I will never sell t-shirts made in sweatshops somewhere that I paid $1 for.
Wait, I can't pay for Attar sweatbands for my head that I can just wear every day as I buy GME stocks?
You can if you want, just not on my name.
What about a triple mask that has "Do You Money" on it? I feel like that's the type of signaling that I need to be
That's
Showing.
yeah. I'm not gonna condone signaling and then profit off of it. I will make a mask myself that says "Do you money?" or I want to make a shirt that just says "I don't sell merch" on it and then stream with it, just so everyone knows and stops asking me.
Will you?
So wait, you don't
start
sell like any
selling
merch at
that
all?
No, man. I will.
shirt
I,
as a merch option?
the book I'm working on now, and fuck, I hope I didn't put that in the description, but PD, you're like, you asked me if we were going to talk about the book I'm writing right now. I don't think it's at a point in which to talk about, but once I finish the book I'm working on now, I'm going to start selling physical copies of that book.
Well, I mean, I was curious if you were going to talk about the book because you wanted to be able to push it off further. Just typical Tar fashion, come back and be like, it'll be out 2023.
I'm planning on finishing it at the end, like before the end of March, because I'm just gonna spend like a week just working on it, 12 hours a day, high as fuck.
The way it reads is really, really interesting, and it keeps you engaged. So that's definitely exciting.
It's gonna get crazier. Just what I already have written it's one of my favorite things that I've written so far. I've had the idea in my head for quite some time, so yeah.
Just kind of build.
Well, yeah.
It. Oh,
when are you gonna start pushing? When are you gonna start pushing ads for Raid Shadow Legends?
Yes.
I will. I will do that on my second channel at some ill-defined point when if it will ever become as popular as the first. But yeah, up until then.
Atar's Den.
Yeah, Atar's Den.
Atar's Den for anyone who is watching this and is not already subscribed.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
We're gonna do the language.
I suck at marketing.
We're gonna do the language conversation on here, right, Atar?
Yeah, let's do it, man. You want to do it next weekend?
Yeah. So Diego, your Hollywood question, that'll be addressed next weekend, unless we want to get into why Hollywood is pushing a narrative of shit entertainment now.
Oh shit! The next conversation after ours, be talking to Kino. I think that will be brought up.
Oh shit! So yeah,
he's a film snob, so that should be a. I'm sure he doesn't like me calling him a film snob. I don't even care.
All right, so we'll just leave that for the time being. So that foundation is there, then somebody a bit more contemporary can go over it. Diego.
Yeah. I'm glad Clueless Engineer's pumped for the book. So am I, dude. It's fun writing it. Yeah.
I'm okay with the fucking wraparound of postmodernism in entertainment, though. Just because, like, the whole American ideal of Americans are unsettled if there's silence in their films. And then we had music under everything, but now we're coming back around out of that loop into less is more. Yep. So you just have like one continuous non-tonal instrument playing underneath a scene, constantly transitioning, like ebb and flowing.
There Will Be Blood is a perfect example of that. Johnny Greenwood's a genius.
So I'm definitely fine with a lot of the things coming out of the postmodern deconstructionism. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no, when it comes to art, of course. I mean, even in philosophy, it's got a bad rap, but it's not as crazy as people make it out to be. The Marxists, the postmodernists, they're destroying the fabric. Like, come on now.
Talk about AI. Ooh, salty mango, Alex.
Okay.
Are you still scared?
How deep do we want to go?
We can go deep.
This conversation.
We can go deep if you want. I was just talking to Noel and another brilliant mind on the server, about the level of like all big tech institutions are just banking on big data, if you were to extrapolate, it becomes a lot scarier. If you just sit down and think about it, like what the future can hold, it's any way you shape it, in my mind, is just, it sounds just dystopian as fuck. So,
Before Alex, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. I was gonna say,
I was gonna
what do
say
you guys think?
before Alex gets into the hyper technical, because the man knows his AI, we should lay down a solid foundation of fear and apprehension. I think that's super important.
Well, that's just speak for yourself. I, for one, recommend my robot overlords.
Cyberpunk 2077 just released. Your computer's on fire.
All right, if we're gonna get into this, I need to go grab myself a refill real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. You do that. Let's while he's
Okay. So the first
we'll
distinction that we have to make, we have AI already. AI is helping out. AI is helping out the VoIP protocols within these Discord chats and making sure it's seamless. It's not working for Salty Mango. He keeps breaking out. But you know, AI has its faults. It's pretty specific. But then there's AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, and then usually power laws are overlaid on that. That's I don't think, yeah. So we already have AI. It's benefited our lives tremendously.
Of course. But I think when it starts making decisions, that particular video was eye opening, just in that it could lie and choose to lie when it saw fit. I think that opens a whole bunch of doors.
Yeah, but it's still not conscious of, like, it's still not, it doesn't understand what it's saying. It's just recognizing patterns and then going from there, you know?
Well, you know, again, we've talked about this, and I think that the primary, you know, as Alex and you have brought up before, the primary holds on this, just you know, real quick things, today's war or today's arms race is within AI between America and China, right? Mm-hmm. We're not really looking at the consequences of building whoever can build the biggest. It's just whoever gets to it first. So that's a consistent threat,
right?
That we're looking at.
I mean, but even that, definitionally, we still don't understand what intelligence is. I recommend.
Will that matter? Will that matter at the time?
That's a good point. Will it matter?
Well, I mean, it already matters now. My whole job is to basically work with a system that tells me how to do my job, but I'm there to flex the system to make it do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It matters now. It matters what I'm saying. It would, Salty maybe onto something, like, will it matter if it generalizes? Because it's like, if we keep thinking about AI and intelligence in a certain paradigm and it advances and generalizes, like, I mean, that's literally the paperclip problem, right? It's like, if you're to design an AGI with the protocol of maximizing the effectiveness of creating paperclips, so then it destroys humanity in the process, because, you know, trying to reduce all the inefficiencies of making paper clips and realizing that humans are the problem, and then just destroying them. Like, right? Like, I'm sure everyone's heard that thought experiment. So it's like, you have to, the current paradigm of AI, I think, is deeply flawed, and I'm glad there's a lot of smart minds behind the scene trying to.
Yeah, but that's a scary thing. I want to say it was our boy Elon who said that these powerful minds are not pumping the brakes where they should be. So, granted,
because
they're all
on the spectrum, and they don't fucking they
don't
necessarily care.
But none of us are seeing.
Yeah,
it's exciting to them. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But none of us can see behind the scenes of what's actually occurring or what has already occurred. But to rein it back in on the other side of the thing, you and Alex have both brought up the holds on it. I think it was the hardware issue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the second one was, if you want to explain that real quick, go.
Yeah, sure. I think because you know, when it comes to IT and tech, I'm more knowledgeable about hardware than software. In my view, the predictions that AI and AGI will come out of like a misunderstanding of like hardware to the point of not just computation but just how electrons work, right, and passing through logic gates. It's one of the it's I mean, one just has to look at what Intel is going through right now. They can't even get down to a smaller nanometer size for their CPUs. The compute and processing power that's fucking needed to even actualize like a sliver of what we're predicting is not just currently not viable at all, but likely so in the next 20 years, or even then on, especially if we don't develop some method of like trying to stray away from rare metals, because those are running out too. But like the hardware is the primary limiting factor of these systems evolving to such a degree that is worrying and scary and dystopian. Yeah. What's the second part?
The second part, I believe we were talking about before with Salty, was the a lot of these intelligence systems as it is right now. Maybe not as much with AGI, but even still, there still needs to be the intention with any coding setup to be the first mover. You have to intend what direction and kind of what its outcome goals that it's trying to optimize for are.
Right.
So, I mean, that needs to be considered carefully, and the restraints need to be set up around that carefully.
Yeah.
But just certain intelligence systems aren't, if we use any AI, it's not like any AI is going to just destroy the world.
Right.
We can use AI intelligently and AI systems intelligently.
Yeah, we already do.
But we've really got to be. We've just got to really tread carefully around things and really have these conversations and think through of all the risks and the downstream effects that it may have.
Right.
Because I know that was a lot of Salty's concerns before.
Yeah. I mean, even to that point, like what Daniel L. brought up, the computer needs to be told what to ultimately think. That, I mean, yeah, of course it needs to be programmed, but one can imagine a thought generator program that uses AI and it's tapped into not just Google Scholar but also Ngram, and it's similar to GPT-3 to the point where it's like it can recognize patterns, but what it will do is kind of like what a couple of Twitter accounts I follow are these bots that combine like all the patterns of language that describe ideology and then placing it together, so you get absurd shit like. Let me see if I could pull one up that I've. But one can imagine a program that spits shit out that we didn't tell it to think whatsoever. We just designed parameters, like Osama pointed out, and that could also be generative too, because it combines things that we could not come up with ourselves. Maybe that's a.
Well, it's not just that. Why would a simple command be able to be constructed? You brought it up with the paperclip thing, but let's say it's something far, less hypothetical, something grounded in the real world, something in medical even. I think that's one of the largest fields that we're bringing AI towards. If we were to just give it some type of very simple command, figure out the best way to do this, why would it not be able to kick those decisions into place itself? To make
Right.
those, I mean, the first mover thing is completed if we give it a generalized order, right?
Right.
What's to stop the ball from rolling?
Hardware. That's my biggest thing.
Right. Right.
Well, even setting things a general goal, like you can't type in a goal for AI right now and say take over the world.
Yeah.
And it'll figure out how to take over the world. Like it's the amount of abstraction and language still is something that needs to be picked out of AI as well.
It will create an if for a while loop and then call it world and then throw an exception at the end. Now, hey, you took over the world. It's pretty. That's
Yeah, it'll just
And then-
print "Hello World" to infinitum.
yeah.
We do have bots that write code, though, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty rudimentary though. It's from what I
So-
gather. It's better than GPT
remember-
3 in the sense of not necessarily functionally, but like just the level of shit it can figure out. If I remember correctly, I don't. This is not my. This is not my
I think
area,
that time is. I think that time is strongly against us, just in the fact that things grow exponentially in this field.
But are they really though? I mean,
Hardware is the only thing that I've heard thus far that I find compelling as a holdback. But
yeah,
I mean, if we can
Same with
design
me,
programs
honestly,
that can write
yeah.
programs,
yeah, and the people,
Yeah, I mean,
the people
the
writing
intention
programs
is
are
only-
fucking geniuses. There's Null,
Yeah,
our senior programmer. We're literally talking about
Yeah.
programming right now.
Yeah.
oh, it's
There we
on.
go. Well, I'll let him take over. Please, no.
No, I just had a question, and keep in mind I'm jumping in the middle of this. I've been listening some.
Nice.
Yeah. What do we assume AI is going to be any more sensible than us, right? Because the fear is like it's gonna find out we're crazy. It's gonna try to take us out. But why do we assume that's going to be the case?
I don't think
Why
that
not?
fear
Go ahead.
is. I don't think that fear is. I think that fear is baseless. But
Mhm.
it's kind of like I said, the paradigm exists as it is now. So those are the kind of stupid things we think about it, right?
Okay.
Nobody's
You know
made
what
that. I'm not even going to say that we're voicing that fear.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just going to say that do we
I
really
mean,
want something with
AI
that
is-
kind of incredible control,
AI is
able
kind of
to make
stupid
decisions for
now.
itself?
AI is
Yeah.
kind of stupid now. I mean, there's some algorithms that are extremely. They're smart just functionally, but them by themselves, it's just it's either elegant or really rudimentary, and it just works for them.
I think the big thing is going to come with a lot of that language abstraction things, because once you can get it to really understand like what might be going on with human dialogue, or at least understand it to a point that's comprehensible, like incomprehensible to us, or we wouldn't be able to tell the difference, is what I'm trying to get at. Is the fact that it's got so many crawling capabilities across so many different domains and pieces of information. I don't see how it couldn't get more intelligent than us, but I think that's all dependent upon the language abstraction pieces.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I personally, again, it always dives into the whole definition of intelligence. And what
Yeah,
that means, because
Yeah.
I think oftentimes people conflate AI's efficiency for intelligence. Like it's really fast at getting information that normally would take us a while to get.
Right.
And so,
I mean,
I don't necessarily think that that's the defining feature here, though. It's similar to how do you define decadence? How did the Supreme Court judge say it? I know porn when I see it. We can't define it, but I'll know it when I see it. It's the same thing here.
So it's
I
some
don't
kind of-
necessarily.
So what you just said is some kind of level of heuristics that has to be brought into perception, right? So it's like,
I think that it's necessary. Yeah,
but then
it's
that
inevitable.
But that is like it overlaps with intelligence as we currently understand it, as like information processing either at the level of the brain or elsewhere. Oh, you weren't invited. Trust me.
I also kind of disagree with that, because by the time
I
we
do
see
too.
it, it's already too late.
because the information has been processed.
By the time you see something and it's already out there in the world, it's out there in the world with this technology. And to recognize that the AI has already gone to some bad place. So say here in America, we've recognized that certain kind of AI or automation we put into place had some horrible detrimental effect. We ban it here. We ban, do everything we can within our legal system to ban this technology. But it's out there already. Like, should I miss something?
No, it's just like a story as old as time,
Yeah.
Funny.
But yeah, so like once it's there, it's there, and whether we can see it and be like, oh, now that we see it, we know that's bad. It's like it's already been manifested. Like,
Right. No closing that Pandora's box.
Why would we want to?
Yeah,
I say
exactly.
embrace it.
Well,
I have a hard time, like, what would it do? It'd just start taking everybody's job, and we'd all start doing.
Oh no more
Yeah.
jobs. Fuck. I can't use my idle time to do idle things. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's more of the concerns that come with the velocity that the change it brings.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
If
It
it doesn't,
could be a her situation, and they just launch themselves into space. Sure, but
But all I'm saying is I don't want this AI around my kids.
Stupid.
Oh, humans, silly humans.
Indeed. Yeah, Trust and Ben. You're not a patron. I don't know how the fuck you got in here. Someone did. I forgot to take your roll off. You could listen though. You could listen. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that may wrap up the AI conversation. Do you wait? No, maybe not. Jordan Burkholder asks, do you think it's even possible to make AI that is smarter than a human? We already kind of did. DeepMind is a great
that
example.
exists
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
It just has more RAM than a human. It's not necessary.
We're past that.
It's deriving its decision-making information from humans. Like, whether that decision's more advantageous or not, what is that based off of? It would have to be based.
Oh, well, forgive me if I'm wrong here, no. Right, but what you're describing is computing power. So we built something that has extreme computing power beyond the level of human.
I mean,
but
there's been equations that came out that
still have a person be.
You're breaking up.
Right.
The AI got you, bro. Yeah.
Our AI overlords are shutting Salty down.
That
can't have all that anti-AI speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Of course this has to happen on stream, man.
This is.
Yeah,
you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Yeah.
God
damn
it. What?
Sorry. Well, I was saying, there's been stuff that have come out like the brain's computational power is tremendous for the amount of energy it requires. It's only like 200 watts or some shit. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like the brain. I don't think the brain, even if it is electrons firing through synapses, similar to like electrons firing through logic gates, but I don't think there's a fundamental difference in my point. It's just the system and creation and framework of the brain is entirely different than a motherboard or a CPU.
Yeah.
And that's why I put D-volt batteries on my tongue for at least an hour a day to make sure I'm at maximal charge.
That's why I stick an extension cord up my ass before I go work out. Clueless Engineer wants to know about NoFab. He's asked a couple times.
I think
dude, fucking do you?
Yeah.
I think there's some psychological merit.
I don't know, man.
There's sainthood in suffering, right? So
I think this whole movement is one of those things that's the symptom, not a cause. I think everyone's kind of jumped on this as a hype thing, whether there's any merit to it or not. Sure, maybe. But my whole thing is like I think there's bigger problems that most people could tackle before they try and take that on.
Just like addiction, and then also rampant consumption of things like it. That's don't do that, right? But then there's, dude, I did NoFap last November. I lasted dude. I have to coom, right?
Bro.
just whether it's sex or mass. Like if 2 weeks was my limit, bro, and then the homicidal thoughts started going. Like I'd turn into a crazy person.
It happens. It's a.
We got our premium NoFap user right
here. It's an exertion, though. No, but it's an exertion. So if you could find a different way to exert that energy,
dude, nah, bro, I work out. It's different. It is way different. It's way different. Come on now.
You got to make sure you're either fasting for 6 weeks or on an all meat diet in order for NoFap to work, bro. It's paramount. Yeah, that's what you messed up.
Well, don't.
I think the bigger hype revolves it as well as
don't watch porn every day. It's that simple.
Moderation.
Well, yeah, moderation.
Yeah, I think that's the healthy.
But there's still something sick about watching other people do things.
The voyeurism aspect. Yeah, that's why you go POV, right? That's why POV is so popular.
It's still. I mean, that doesn't. It's still.
I know.
Still
I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. That's why you get a significant other, or you become a man whore.
I find it funny.
Or an actual whore.
I find it funny how.
An actual whore. I didn't mean that.
There's an inert, euphoric kind of like after a week of not fapping. And
but is that just? It's
not even. There isn't. I don't think there's any science that states that if you don't or if you do, it would have any kind of significant difference in your testosterone or masculinity. I don't think it does. I think what does have more of a significance is making a promise to yourself and telling yourself that you're not going to do something as disappointing as standing in a bathroom and clapping.
I mean, that's
I agree with that.
I think you should definitely.
It all comes down to it.
Definitely start by cleaning your room. Honestly.
That is step number one. Stop coming all over your things.
No.
Stop coming on the walls of your shower.
Have I ever talked to you about lobsters? They have a very similar serotonin syndrome or serotonin circuitry to humans.
Well, you just got to posture up, dude. It's all about posture.
Yeah, stand up straight with your shoulders back.
You got to.
So Bane just said in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't see it. I think you're lying.
Yeah, I've heard Bane's voice, and it doesn't sound like somebody with disposable income.
Go out to this field and shoot pigeons.
Oh shit! You know what, man? I don't see it, but we'll let you in anyways. Because I'm a nice guy.
Doesn't sound like a dude. Disposable income.
So. I've been working a lot. I haven't touched my computer in like 2 months, so I haven't updated. I lost my credit card like 3 times.
Oh, you're good. We're on stream. We don't need to talk about this. You're good, bro.
No, yeah, we're
good, dude.
No, but I got the whole thing done. Yeah, no, continue your conversation. I got it done. It's actually finished. Just had to hurry up. It's fine.
What?
I had to re-up the payment. We're good.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something.
Yes.
Did you do back pay?
Shut up, no.
No. I work full time. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. NoFap is a conspiracy by the alt-right to create mass shooters.
That is a hot take. That is a hot take.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's actually fair.
Yeah, no.
I think that could make a pretty good anti-bully campaign. If you're sad about getting bullied, just go home, jerk off.
I mean, it's
pretty. It comes full
it's
circle.
like what you would do in the military. Just get bored.
Is that true?
Well, something else I was going to mention is that you also kind of let it out in wet dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had one of those in my life, bro. I've never had one of those in my life.
Because you've been jerking off for so long, dude.
Probably. I've been maintaining my biological obligations like a human, right?
just real quick. Are we talking about wet dreams and there's grown men in the like what?
No, yeah,
what?
Yeah,
like,
what? You can still have wet dreams when you're an adult.
Yeah, you must.
Bro,
I don't know.
No.
You must be a what do they call it? 2-pump chump.
No, bro.
Fucking.
That's what it's called.
I mean, y'all want to hear a funny anecdote? I hope my older brother isn't watching, but he told me the only wet dream he's ever had was when he was locked up, in prison.
Wild. Sometimes you're just so
Nice.
deprived. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Like just a thought, like a cushion looked a little bit like
Right.
a nice ass, and that was it. He's just like, nah, man. Those sheets are looking mighty fine right there.
Oh, this is some degenerate hours right here. Okay.
Yep.
Bro, dude, I remember being 8 years old and watching TMZ for whatever reason, and the story about fucking Paris Hilton sex tape broke out,
Yes.
bro, and that shit just it fucked me up, bro. That's what caused it.
Just new synapses formed right then and there. You're sitting on the couch. And you're just like,
Ran upstairs, started, blew out some dust. It never stopped.
Neurons activated.
.com. Just
Yeah.
Britney Spears dress up game.
Monkey neuron activated.
Full monk brain activated. Man, actually, what was it like? The macaques are in the Stone Age now. I love that. Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Really?
Another anthropomorphizing of primates. Like I don't. Like it's. Yeah.
What do you mean another? The first one wasn't a real example.
The chimps,
This one sounds like
chimps-
bullshit,
the
but
chimps creating. Well, they've been using stones but they've always been doing that. They go into they go to tree trunks and use like rocks to get out
Right.
bugs. Yeah, they've always been doing
What
that.
about the spears?
But
What
they-
about
but
the
they- but
spears?
they-
What about
Yeah.
the orangutan
Little
using
grains
the
of rice.
chainsaw?
So
Well, they can
there's
learn
such a
something.
small population of them. You just
Right.
they go out there and they bring them sweet potatoes and they give them rice or whatever, and they
Mhm.
like grains of wheat, little barley bits, just whatever trash they can find.
Yeah.
They give it to them. They just go and they actually like filter it through the water instead of just like picking out little individual grains. So they're thinking like that. One random macaque did that, and then they all just started doing it because they thought of it.
did that
Right.
Monkey see monkey do.
macaque
Monkey
Did
see,
that-
monkey do, and it works. And then
Did
they
the
actually
macaque
season
eat-
their sweet potatoes in the actual salt water because it's a season, so they don't get
Bro,
in there. It's like
hard
it's like a McNugget
Yeah, bro.
sauce. The ocean is a McNugget sauce for them.
Oh, Succaccini, he wants to join. Let's make him a temporary. Can someone make him a temporary cult member?
No,
Let's
zero,
hear it.
bro.
Succaccini.
Yeah, I don't want to pull my
Okay.
Discord up because I don't know what kind of fucking degenerate shit is that will pop up and get me booted off YouTube. So
Hmm.
And they're just getting drug meal.
but this is the bar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to be cult member. Just make him temporary cult member.
That
There he is. What's up, man?
There he is.
Yo, what's going on? Pretty cool. Okay.
All right, you're on the spot now.
What
Hit us
up?
with it.
Hit us with it.
I'm way late to this. I'm way late to this discussion, but we were. I know this is way back, but on the topic of what was it, NoFap or something like that.
Are you an endorser?
Practitioner?
An endorser
You,
of
you
NoFap?
abstain from porn.
You see, I don't think that anything regarding like what's it self power, what's like willpower, anything like that, or like testosterone, any of that business. I don't think that's actually the point of NoFap. A lot of it is somewhat propaganda. It's not quite trying to generate school shooters, but looking through the subreddit and things of that nature.
I wonder what's short of that.
Yeah.
Well, only slightly short, but there are people on there that genuinely believe that fapping destroys gray matter in the brain. They genuinely believe that fapping subconsciously
We
makes
had
it
a-
less appealing to women. It's,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
What?
We had a couple people on the server that were like that would post studies in support of that, and then we'd all like a few of us would go through the studies like it doesn't say any of this shit at all. What the fuck you even say?
Yeah.
It's all hearsay at that point.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing. I got in an argument about somebody. I actually went through the study, and yeah, it doesn't say that whatsoever.
Yeah.
The problem is that enough people believe it to where it forms an echo chamber on NoFap. It
What was it? It's
creates
like
an
the same
atmosphere to where those things actually happen just out of straight placebo effect. People start putting themselves out there.
Right, right. No,
And,
and-
And,
Dude,
like they capitalize on the fear of that too,
Yeah.
which really bothers the shit out of me. Because then they're like, "So just stay away from it completely. Moderation in your life—that's not
Yeah.
a thing. Don't practice that."
Dude, I think because
Yeah, exactly.
I think because and it's a lot of it is American culture and America and bleeding out into the world, right? Because here's a funny statistic: the placebo effect is like in an order of magnitude more effective in America than anywhere else in the world. I think we are a very visceral and ethereal, not ethereal, mythological society. So it's very we trend towards like belief in things, and that has physiological effects. I think that bleeds out into the rest of the world as well. So no fat could be a great example of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be interested to see those statistics, Atar.
In practice,
yeah, sure. I'll locate them.
Bro, it really sounds like you vouch for the pornography industry, dog.
I mean, I think the pornography industry is incredibly exploitative, but at the same time, it's just porn.
It's just gonna be this.
It's just porn, man.
Bella Thorne got on OnlyFans. Oh man, that really peeved me.
What?
You don't remember Bella Thorne getting on the fucking?
Oh yeah, dude. And she's like, here is just a saucier version of my Instagram pictures. Give me millions of dollars. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
And then it's all
about like hiding just that little bit.
Pareto distribution in action, right? That all you need is like a OnlyFans Bernie, like the top 1% of the 1%. You know what I mean?
right. One singular ad that you could just plaster everywhere.
Yep.
Man,
I got a pretty sketch hot take on this. I genuinely don't know exactly how accurate.
Hit us with it, bro.
But
hit it.
Let's go. All right. Is Belle Delphine the like ultimate pioneer, the Lewis and Clark for like online softcore pornography?
No, absolutely not.
No,
I don't know.
There have been generations of this. Like there's
it's just a variant. Yeah, I mean, it's
we've evolved as a culture for sure within the past decade, past that because cell phones. But no, I don't think so.
I'm gonna grab some ice. I'll be right back.
You got to keep in mind things like Playboy and Maxim didn't.
Yeah, exactly. We've had that
hardcore pornography. Yeah, that was actually softcore. So I think it's more of a generational perspective.
Yeah.
I see.
Just having it on an app that you could just scroll through. It's like it's a book that never ends, and it's on my thing. It's a little box.
Destroying.
Come to think of it, I think my reasoning for thinking that was because of the whole like political correctness movement.
Okay.
Yeah, that's leading to some cognitive dissonance in that area because I'm being led to believe that.
I guess she's revolutionary. She's probably revolutionary in the sense that as an individual, like an independent contractor type deal, like, I don't know, it's like maybe more control over her content than previous people. Because I mean, people weren't putting in those kind of racks for doing porn or softcore porn back in the day. So there is that.
Well, when you have your hand in a bunch of businesses, I mean, it's kind of just bound to happen, right? Like, you advertise.
She's bringing in major money off OnlyFans, like dumb money. So I hear.
That's the thing, because I was discussing with like a few other people from like college, and a lot of people are, or mostly women, but like people are extraordinarily apologetic to online sex work. Like they're mentioning how people trying to advertise straight up prostitution on Instagram are being shut down, and they're like, "This is unacceptable. We need to be accepting to these types of people."
Well, so I'm kind of a mixed bag on these issues. I do lean more libertarian in the sense that I believe these people should be able to do what they're doing and have a market, but I also want the culture to be able to have a conversation around the parameters on which these things are going down.
That's so fucking sensible, bro.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. Yeah, it's because it's like if someone really does want to go down a sex work route, I want them to be able to do that, but I also want there to be enough of an infrastructure that can be created around that to where they've got the protections that they need in order to do what they need to do safely, or to whatever how many degrees of safety they want to choose to have. I want there to be that conversation around things too. I don't want it to be, talking about certain institutions need to be made, and then someone's like, "Oh, that's sex negative." But so I'm like, but it provides safety.
You would like to set up a prostitution union?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. This is not my area of expertise. Well,
I go ahead. My bad.
yeah, it's like I don't know if there needs to be, databases created or certain kinds of things where you have screening of the clientele beforehand or different kinds of things like that. Or maybe there can be layers to this. There can be certain organizations that choose to do this and don't choose to do that. But if we're going to go open down the route of allowing anyone and their brother, sister, whoever, to go and open an OnlyFans or go and even start doing sex work, there needs to be a better conversation about how all of this needs to go down. And we need to really start taking some serious look at legislation, because there's going to be some people hurt pretty badly here in black markets that are created outside of the government that don't need to be there, because we could allow these kinds of things to happen and have a sensible conversation about them.
I mean, I agree with everything you said. To speak on the gentleman's point who brought that up, though, I think people are apologetic towards sex work online, not because of their innate sense of the free market and our entitlement to it, but more so that's just a trendy thing. I don't want to mark myself too hard. I want to say degeneracy is kind of just celebrated.
Yeah, no, it's not like it's
I'm not trying to say
too frowned upon.
I'm not trying to say you're a degenerate for doing that, but it's more so, oh, that's unique, whatever. It's I don't know. It's just weird.
There's a difference between permitting and celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
Well, dang, if you just got laid, I'd celebrate too, man. Fuck. Do both of them.
And got paid.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Now, hear me out here, alright? Autism is fuel, okay? It is the coal driving this train forward.
It's like we have to talk about all the dumb shit in order to get to the meat and potatoes at the end of the.
Autism doesn't equate to dumb. It's just like an increase in autonomic response and the decrease of non-autistic perception and communication.
The decrease of
I'm about it.
I agree.
I'm about it. Proceed.
Yeah. Hold up. Okay.
On the topic of regulating sex work and things like that, would you say it's a similar dilemma to prohibition?
Yes.
I mean, what was it? What was the Obama?
Well, it's a little different because the human is the commodity or whatever, and prohibition, alcohol was the commodity. It's like an inanimate object.
Well, I guess if you mean in prohibition as it can create dangerous environments that would not otherwise exist if the prohibition was not in place, I say yes.
Yeah, okay. You'd still have some, but not to the extent of.
Yeah. I mean, nothing in this world is 100% safe.
100%, yeah.
What is that bit of There was a bill for the during the Obama administration that targeted basically all the vices, and it targeted sex workers as well, to the point where even porn stars and sex workers today can't even hold a fucking bank account. They just keep getting denied.
So you're under Obama?
Yeah, under Obama. I forget what the fuck it was called.
Not my Lord and Savior.
I wasn't saying that. There's a specific bill though. Does anyone know? Does anyone in the chat know?
I know because I watched. I know because I listened to the one podcast with Ashley Matthews and Eric Weinstein, and they were talking about that.
What's it called again?
Trying to think of the policy's name. Is it like the Protection of the Family Act or something like? No, that sounds too conservative.
It was like it had like a pretty poetic. What are you doing with that ice, bro? Got some blue balls? Nah, man, I got some fucking scotch, bro. Come on now. The Among Us bill.
That's kind of a funny meme now.
Bro, I haven't seen that meme. I keep hearing it.
I don't even know what Among Us is, bro. I keep fucking hearing it. I don't even want to Google it.
Bro? When people bring it up, it's been 2 months. I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Man. That's like one of the dumbest things. Just that game.
Yeah,
I've grown to hate it.
Among Us is a whole new demon.
Yeah, no, we have to like pride ourselves on the thing that
the FOSTA law. Congress passed SESTA, FOSTA. I'm trying to find the actual name of this. Sorry to interrupt. It's the shit. I'm going down a rabbit hole. Thanks. My bad. Carry on.
Operation Choke Point. Thank you, Okiwan.
You're lying. That's what it was called.
Yeah. So
It's actually a pretty nice name.
Yeah.
So it specifically targeted the banking system and the FDIC, as it says here, to include flags in their systems for anything that could be high-risk activity, like ammunition sales, coin dealers, dating services, escort services, firearm sales, and then also pornography. That's the biggest one because this has been affecting a lot of porn stars now, which is and also strippers, right? Sport brand. You're asking what brand of Scotch? I balled out recently because I'm celebrating a good month. Balvenie. Just wanted to put them on the map. It's my favorite Scotch.
I'd never heard you drink anything else but that.
I love dude. This is my Scotch, bro. I've had so many different Scotches that this is mine.
The reason I bring that up is because you say you're celebrating, but I'm like, have you ever not?
No, I mean I bought a whole new bottle when I ran out of my stock, right? I'm celebrating, right? Yeah. Yeah. What Ranked Midget is pointing at. We're living in a world where animated pornography is being targeted in bills. Forget prostitution ever getting legalized federally. Exactly. Like that is the I mean, there's an important point to be made that the even in prostitution, right? The anti-prostitution efforts enforced by law enforcement have been so detrimental to not just the sex workers but also the clientele that they go. It is literally like a form of public shaming because their mugshots go up online, and everyone
everyone in the neighborhood knows.
So many women and men, but mostly women, have been targeted by people because they ended up on the mugshots.
Isn't it awfully chimpy of us to still do the old public shaming? I don't know. It's just
agreed, man.
Especially in the information era. That's
really well. Yeah, information. I guess privacy is like a thing. But then again, if you're just like,
I guess privacy is a thing, yeah.
But like you think about it, like
the hot take.
If you want to look up, I mean, same thing with like the sex offender registry, right? Like they'll have the databases anyways. Whether or not you'll be able to access the mugshot or not, it's gonna be on the page anyways. It's just fix the interface on it if you really want to.
You see, this is the problem, is that things like, if you were talking about the operation, like, Choke Me Harder, I forgot what it was, but, like, Choke Point.
Operation Choke Point, yeah.
Yeah, they listed Ponzi schemes, they listed ammunition sales, they listed things that are arguably an actual problem, along with pornography. The precedent here is that I'm not sure if this is an agenda or not, but the precedent here is that pornography, prostitution, things of that are at either the same or at least a similar level to straight up black market gun dealing.
Well,
right, and that's an insane categorization because it is a vice, but it's not few and far between, right?
Is that the intent though? Is that really the target, or is it just the way
the way
to sugarcoat it to get it through? It's like
the way this bill was drafted was extremely authoritarian. Like in the co-opting of the banking system in order to enforce that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna lead on to that.
And
the fact that there is the lack of separation. This is, again, at least I'm libertarian. I believe there should be a lot more independence between government and these types of utilities. Because if the government gets power over something like a banking system, and the banking system is like,
if they want,
that's the problem. That is an enormous problem. I mean, the generalizations, the agenda that they seem to be pushing here about pornography is a whole can of worms. But like the fundamental connection between government and banking and just your general livelihood, the amount of control they have over that's way concerning, especially because they can push these agendas and get away with it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I hate every word you just said.
Yeah.
Can't
Fuck
disagree,
you.
just gotta hate it.
Fuck you. Your opinion, your ideology, your whole being. Just fuck you.
All of what
It's
you
over.
are,
Yeah.
I disagree.
Well stated. Well stated.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
You said Kino was up next?
Monkey brain.
Yep. So here in like 5 minutes, I'm gonna be chatting with the Kino Corner, a nice little YouTube channel. I urge everyone to check out. We're gonna be. I don't know exactly what we're gonna be talking about. I assume film. And
Wait, you're collabing?
yeah,
collabing?
I'm gonna do a one-on-one. I'm gonna do a one-on-one conversation with Kino here in a second. Does anyone want to talk about anything in the next 5 minutes?
Can we talk about how much of a shame it was that Tenet's budget was so large and it happened during pre-COVID times and they got absolutely no money for it?
You know, honestly, I think that's what's gonna make it like into a cult classic. You think no one went out and saw the thing, right? It was incredibly. I mean,
Right.
it was marketed very well. I watched it. It was a pretty.
It was great. I thought.
solid
It
film.
was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't.
Well, I mean, I've got some issues with it.
The ending
wise.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. That was the whole time. I'm like, no. And my girl's like, what? I'm like, no. The temporal dimensions don't it doesn't work like that, man.
It's
And
the-
I'm
yeah,
not even
no,
a physicist.
But the thing is, it's like I'm glad it's going to bring people to the conversation about it to get more people interested in this.
I don't know.
Things.
I think most people would just be like, yeah, I like that movie. It was a mind fuck.
It was a Christopher Nolan movie.
I am the protagonist.
Well then, never mind. Let's just keep talking about Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove, and I'll be good.
Yeah. I
Oh,
love that
why
movie.
not? Why not Clockwork Orange or like 2001: A Space Odyssey? Since we all.
Well, yeah, those all have been talked about enough.
Well, dang.
As long as there can be an open conversation had about these things, I'll be happy. But also, fuck you, talk about my movie.
Yeah. Well, no,
Your
he wants to have a conversation about movies.
I fucking fucked up, dude.
Not a conversation about movies, bro.
Oh shit. Anyways, ooh, I almost clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, Kino.
Have you guys ever heard of what like Gary Busey's account of like how he died was? It was really interesting. Like he tried to like explain what happened because man's broke his spine. He was on a motorcycle just zooming. He hit a curb or whatever and just flew off of the bike and just snapped his spine clean in two. So he was dead for a bit. But got resuscitated. I guess that's why he's crazy now. But he recounts it so weirdly. I don't know if you guys really care about it.
Who are you talking about?
Gary Busey.
The guy looks like a crazy homeless
no,
man.
he's nuts. That dude is actually crazy. He's not a nice person. But
I really need to get a second screen. This is not fucking working.
This Kino homie freaking covers Wes Anderson movies. My dick is officially hard.
I had honestly prior full disclosure, I haven't watched much of the Kino Corner's work. I have watched a couple and I like what I see. So it's gonna be an interesting conversation.
This guy.
Is he in the chat right now? Is Kino's content farm to table? Like, what's up?
He never joined the server. The fucking prick. I'm just kidding.
All right.
All right. I think I'll wrap it up right here though. We'll switch into the Kino conversation. I appreciate you, gentlemen. It's been would you
everyone out in the YouTube world subscribe and join this Discord, and if you want to come fight us on our conversations, we're here.
Yeah. They sure are.
Please fight
Glad
me.
I could be here.
and what was the next thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, once the Kino conversation is I know it's a Sunday and next day is but do you guys want to continue the conversation on stream? Or
I can stick around.
I might be able to. I might come back.
Okay.
might be able to, depending on how long.
Okay.
I'll probably go to bed, but thank you.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Even then, I'll just end the stream and jump back in VC, and we'll engage in some degenerate shit that we can't talk about on YouTube. So.
Yes.
All right, gents, it's been fun.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Bye.
Gang.
Thanks.
All righty. All right, Kino, let's get it, bro. Hopefully this works. I guess we'll see. Okay. Yeah, just let me know, dude. Just give me a call. I guess in the meantime, we can open up a beat or two. How's everyone doing? I hope that conversation was enjoyable and entertaining. Hello, Stinky Scrublet. DM's linked. Oh, shit. I've been found out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it looks like he's ready. I just don't want to... Yeah, you love talking about porno.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, man?
How's it going? What's been going on the stream so far? I've been away, so
we've been talking about a bunch of random shit, from political pendulums to pornography to.
That's my specialty actually.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I just watched Climax by Gaspar Noé.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love that movie. I love Gaspar Noé. What were your impressions since you're fresh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fresh, and I finished it about 30 minutes ago.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. For one, the opening was interesting. So something that I noticed about the editing is that whenever there's a cut, there was like a black frame or a couple frames of black to really sort of make you know that there was a cut.
Right.
And the opening with the lady in the snow, and I mean, I get it. It's like that's like a teaser, right? Because you're thinking, man, what's happening? You know,
right?
Why is this lady bleeding in the snow? You know,
that's
the white makes it.
That's the hook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then all the interviews, and that's kind of like a getting to know the characters, sort of. But really, you get to know the characters after that first dance rehearsal, and the dance rehearsal was great.
Yeah.
I was really hooked in on that dance rehearsal. I was like, man,
it was trance-like. It was
yeah.
I haven't seen that film in like a year. I only watched it once, and I loved it so much that I wanted to keep it what my memory was of it.
And
probably
I get that.
Probably the next time I watch it, I'll be on some drugs.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you in DMs a little earlier today that I watched Enter the Void while like wasted.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like flying through Tokyo. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that is that experience. You don't even have to be wasted to experience that. Yeah. Gaspar Noé is I love that guy. I've heard him in a couple of interviews that he has trouble getting funding for his films, which is
I bet
it's a damn shame though. That man is an auteur.
But that happens though, right? Like with a lot of the best directors, have the most difficulty getting funding because their movies don't necessarily do well when they first release.
Right.
So so if anyone's listening in, they don't know who I am. I'm the Kino Corner.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't do any introductions. You do a film analysis and review on your channel.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, it's a little bit different than film analysis and review.
Okay.
Like,
sorry.
so yeah, I guess I'll introduce myself here. So I come from the world of film. Like I worked in Hollywood for years. So my angle on my videos is that it's looking at films through the eyes of a filmmaker, and also through the eyes of like a film historian, because I'm really big into film history.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like my beginner's guide to cinema is really just about the history of film, but my video on Halloween is really just all about how John Carpenter made the film for like almost no money, and the kind of the filmmaking tricks that you can learn from that, and and things like that. Although my video on the Truman Show is really about Baudrillard and his simulation. Yeah.
Full disclosure, I've only seen your video on the Truman Show, and then the most recent probably two videos.
Doug Walker one.
Yeah. That one was solid.
So my Doug Walker one was. Anyways, all right. So there's a little bit of story to the Doug Walker one. So back in December, so one of my friends is a YouTuber called Internet Historian. You probably heard of him.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, so he had been working on the Gentleman Pirate for a long time, and I wanted to make a video just kind of showcasing it, because I also have this idea, right? Like maybe I'm going off on like a meth fueled rant right here, where I'm just like, I got all these ideas, like I'm just gonna tell you these ideas.
No, it's fine. But hit us with it.
Yeah. But I trust me, everyone. The only thing I've taken today is wine. I'm drinking Pinot Noir right now, so that's the only thing fueling me.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I'm a man of culture. I used to live in Paris. I'm big on the red wine.
Oh, so. You mean Paris, right?
Paris, oui, j'ai habité à Paris. But no, but so one of my ideas is that. Well, I mean, streaming is becoming a big thing, right?
Right.
As much as I love cinemas, and I'll get into that a little bit in a second here, but I think that there is this untapped market for independent filmmakers on platforms like YouTube. Mm-hmm. I think that like if somebody like my boss, the gamer from Mars, right? If he was to like release a feature length documentary behind a paywall or something, he can make his money back pretty easily on something like YouTube,
Right.
And I think that for like really kind of like these low budget, like new voices type of thing, YouTube is actually a good platform as long as they don't like take down
right.
Right. Take down
which is probably what I'll experience when I put my short up on YouTube. So
yeah,
I'm waiting for the day.
yeah, exactly. So so anyway, so I wanted to start like this series on my channel that's maybe a bit of a lighter series. I'm not talking about Kurosawa, I'm not talking about Ozu or vendors or something like that. I'm talking about other YouTubers, and sort of keeping things like keeping things sort of local in a sense. Mm-hmm. So I started up a YouTube reviews where I review what I consider to be like feature films or films made on YouTube as a way to sort of be a critic, I guess, not just in the sense of being an asshole, but in the sense of like saying this is good and we should strive to do more of this, and maybe we shouldn't strive to do more of that. I mean, I'm coming from a filmmaker background, and I like for me, I'm my own biggest critic,
right?
And when people like watch my stuff and they tell me, "Oh yeah, I could have done, you could have done this or done that," I'm thinking, yeah, I thought about that a year ago.
I already thought about that like directly after, or while I was thinking about it. Yeah. There's a reason why I didn't go down that route. Okay.
Yeah, and so like how I think of it is I'm coming from a place where I just want to like, I think that this is an untapped market, and I think that there should be people that kind of strive to make everything better.
Agreed.
Agreed. So
yeah. No, and I hope my filmmaker buddies, specifically Buddy, is watching, because this was when I started YouTube, it was kind of just like, fuck it, right? I need an outlet, but I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. And as I progressed through YouTube, I realized like this is probably the means that I have the most access to, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I don't want to go to a studio and beg for money and be like, come on, man, exactly. I'll just suck your dick, dude. Just give me $1.2 million, right? It's a low budget film. It's okay. And I don't want to, I'd rather crowdsource, crowd pool, and then just film. I don't want, I mean, no budget is not what any filmmaker necessarily strives for. That means you're hurting. And I would rather release it for all eyes to see than, within a studio or distribution company.
So I guess I'll use this platform to say that I'm releasing my first feature in about a month and a half.
Fuck yeah. I did not know that. Okay. What's that? Tell us about it.
So it's sort of like how I think of it as like Dazed and Confused, but transposed to the 21st century, to the 2010s. Okay. And so I made the joke on set that it's the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, because the guy that plays as one of the teachers is Jeremy London, and his identical twin brother, Jason London, was the main guy in Dazed and Confused.
That's right.
Yeah. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I shot it on 16 millimeter film, Super 16.
Nice.
I shot it about two years ago, but or about a year and a half ago. But the it's been going through the festival circuit, so it's played in a lot of festivals. I've gone really all over the world to different festivals. It played in Russia, Ukraine, Italy, France, all over the States, and some places in Asia.
Nice, so dude. That must be exciting.
Yeah, it was really cool. I especially like going to the screenings in Italy just because I love Italy.
Yeah.
It's just like one of my favorite places. Unfortunately, because of COVID, it was going to play in a lot more festivals this last summer, but because of COVID, that it all got sort of like canceled. So so I have so I'll be releasing it probably on Amazon Prime, but promoting it on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let me know when it's released. I'll scream it out. Well, I gotta watch it first. It could be complete dog shit.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. But I made it for $80,000. Which I took out.
That's practically no budget for a feature these days.
Holy shit. Exactly. And I got it from halfway through raising money from like local businessmen, and then halfway through bank loans, which I only just recently paid off.
Good man. Nothing like putting yourself into debt while just fucking you just have the cash. Like I gotta film this thing, man. Everyone's waiting. Everyone's the first line has been
well, what happened was it's always been like I write a ton of scripts, and one of my jobs was I was a script doctor. I don't know if your audience isn't aware what a script doctor is. Basically, a script doctor is script writers, screenwriters would send me their scripts because they sucked and they needed them to punch it up, right? They needed somebody to basically go through and essentially rewrite everything to make it so that it didn't suck.
Right.
And so I was in some circles, I was a pretty sought after script doctor, and a few of the scripts that I doctored up ended up getting to the top of the blacklist. That's an achievement. Yeah. And it was funny when I was reading the reviews, from the blacklist people, everything that they complimented the scripts on were my own inputs.
So you might as well make your own shit.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing, and then at the same time, I was working for Robert Rodriguez in Austin, Texas.
Nice.
I was working at his studio. It was really cool. I didn't work on the movie, but I was working there during post-production of Alita Battle Angel. And he still had all the sets up. And it was really cool because you would walk outside and they made several city blocks worth of the movie. I mean, that's what $200 million will get you, right?
Yeah.
And it was like you're walking into a whole different world. I had to sign a whole bunch of NDAs. I couldn't say anything about it. I couldn't tell anybody that Alita Battle Angel even existed. It was like totally like closed off, like hush hush. No, anything that happens in the studio, it's like you can't say anything.
I haven't seen that film yet, and I just see that James Cameron.
Yeah, he produced it. Yeah,
and he's on the credits for a screenplay. That's That's dope.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. And just after working with Robert Rodriguez, I was just really inspired just to go make my own film. Like, no matter how much money I had, I was like, I had written a lot of scripts, and I just kind of went through my script closet, and I was like, what script can I make for $80,000? And I just kind of landed on that one. Okay. It's more like it's kind of like Dazed and Confused, but I'm very, very inspired by Robert Bresson as far as how I film things. But it's also sort of like if you mix like Dazed and Confused with Bresson and maybe Fellini's I Vitelloni. I don't know if you've seen I Vitelloni.
I haven't. No, I've only seen 8.5.
Okay, yeah, Fellini is one of my favorites. I would say if you liked 8.5, watch La Dolce Vita. Okay. And if you want like the most crazy cinematic experience of your life, watch Fellini's Satyricon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just
I have that ready to go. Yeah, I'm waiting on a good weekend to watch that.
Yeah, that is just insane. I have the that Criterion Fellini box set that
Criterion
recently came out.
Comes in clutch, man. Comes in clutch.
Dude, I just bought 9 Criterion movies this last week.
Holy shit. A fellow big brain on the server, they apparently Criterion has their own streaming platform similar to Netflix.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I use it so much.
I bet.
So I don't want to spoil anything, but a certain guy got me an interview with the famous director who has never done an interview on YouTube. And so I don't want to say anything. It's going to happen in a few weeks. I've been talking to him. Let's just say it's a director that's not exactly known for making the best movies, but he's very famous on YouTube. And you can make your own guesses. I'm not going to this is
you kind of already you spoiled it. Someone just has to do the detective work, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you in the DMs right here. But anyways, the guy that got me that got it to me, I gave him 6 months of the Criterion channel because I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I can't wait for that to come out. There, let me look at the name real quick. So it's known as. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you see who it is.
Yeah.
It's not somebody who's like some unknown. Actually talking about somebody who, do you know who Vincent Gallo is?
Yeah. He did the Brown Bunny.
The Brown Bunny.
Yeah. That's what everyone knows him as. But he also had,
Buffalo 66.
Yeah, my girl loves that movie. It's very like aesthetically, it's dope. But everything that Gallo puts, it's just incoherent in my mind's eye. Like it just, I don't know, it falls flat for me.
Well, I have been speaking to Gallo.
Nice.
And the easiest way to talk to him. So he's friends with one of my friends, and I was asking my friend, I was like, how do I get him to like respond to my DMs? He's like, just send him like thirst traps and he'll start talking to you. And it worked.
Holy shit. Okay. That makes complete fucking sense now that
yeah. So he started talking to me after I was just sending him pictures of like big tittied ladies.
Yeah, he always just a filthy creative degenerate. That's what I've always.
But from what I hear, he's also super based. Yeah, he's based and he's into big tittied ladies. I mean, what else could you ask for in a man? Yeah. Honestly, like a bro who's going to be in your group DM. Like I have a group DM with some of the guys. Do you know Cumby? BG Cumby?
I don't.
He's the guy, so he's one of my IRL friends, but he's the guy who went on to Fox News and pretended that he was Antifa. I don't know if you remember that story.
I don't.
But so he and Glink and me and some of the other guys have a group DM, and Vincent Gallo got added to it, and all anyone does on there is send thirst traps, especially Cumby. I think that's the only reason why Gallo hasn't left. Is just because he gets on there to
look at those big titties.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I was getting to a point earlier, and I completely forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I got completely derailed.
Oh, that's all right. That's how
no, yeah,
work.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah. Oh, I was talking about my channel. I was talking.
Yeah, so I come
at it. I come at it from a filmmaker perspective. So the Truman Show stuff. Well, I was a philosophy theology student in college, so that's why the Truman Show stuff is very like Baudrillard heavy.
Yeah,
it's very like philosophy heavy.
Definitely.
But it was shot in the town next to me. The movie was, so I was just like, well, I should just like drive over there and just like shoot it in the town. I actually took Emp Lemon on a tour of that town, and we went to Truman's house. Yeah, we went to Truman's house, and it looks totally different now.
Yeah, it usually does.
Yeah.
I don't know if have you ever heard of a film called Section 8? It was like a horror film that took place in an abandoned asylum.
No, I don't think I have.
It was a pretty good film for what it was. It had the same guy that was in CIA, the redhead, or CIA.
Okay.
CSI, the redhead guy. It was a pretty decent film, but it was filmed like within 5 miles of where I was at, and it was they got permission to film there before the asylum was demolished, and it served. It was awesome for the aesthetic of that film because everything was run down and shitty, and it led to the flashback scenes that were in that film, and yeah. So I to be able to shoot in something that is, that was already filmed in, I imagine that probably opened a lot of doors creatively.
So that reminds me of something that is not really related, but I guess kind of like just sort of like a associatively related.
Yeah.
It is. I worked on this film called Blackwater. Terrible film, but anyone in the chat, if you want to look it up, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look.
And anyways, it was terrible. But anyways, we were shooting in this historical building in Mobile, and we were doing nights. But I was like, everything is inside. You're blacking out the windows. Why are you shooting this at night? Because night shoots they're rough, dude.
Yeah.
Like night shoots are fucking rough.
Everyone's tired.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, man, and I was driving an hour to get to set. You know what I mean? So it was like I was hardly getting any sleep. It's hard to sleep during the day. Especially like I don't really have good curtains, so it's really hard for me to sleep during the day. The sun just like shines right into my room.
Right.
And so like I was like, fuck, why are we shooting this at night? But the reason why, and maybe I'll get in legal trouble for saying this, but I doubt it because all those people are fucking morons, is that the city of Mobile, it was a historical building. City of Mobile didn't want them doing like stunt work or like changing things up on the inside. So they were doing it at night so that inspectors wouldn't come by.
Mm-hmm.
So they were having squibs and doing all sorts of blood effects and stuff like that when the city asked them not to, but they were doing it at night so that nobody from the city would come by and see.
Right.
Now, if it was like, if I was working for someone like Herzog, I'd be like, fuck yeah, like, fuck the man, let's do it. But let's just say that it wasn't Herzog directing this. Actually, so my boss, my direct boss, was the assistant director, and he is the guy that owns the rights to Slender Man.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, and so they were making. I
didn't even know that anyone owned the rights to Slender Man.
His name is like Lewis something or whatever.
Okay.
and the other AD was named like Sarah Snow, and they both produced the Slender Man movie, that awful Slender Man movie. But yeah, he owned the rights to Slender Man.
I remember that was in Redbox for a little bit.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Yeah. But anyways, I remember just working that, and one of the funniest stories from that is it's supposed to be on a submarine, right? And and so there's this scene where it's like Dolph Lundgren escapes from some cell in the submarine, but it was just a set made inside this historical building, like in this little room with like super thin plywood. And there's this fight scene, and I had to stand on the other side of the plywood because it was so thin that if when Dolph Lundgren threw the other guy into it, if there wasn't somebody on their side, he would just like literally fly through the wood because it was so cheap.
That's fucking funny. What strikes me immediately is just the lighting in this film. And when you say it's shot like mostly night, it's fucking kind of makes a lot of sense. Kind of makes a lot of fucking sense.
So the other funny thing about that film is I found out that Jean-Claude Van Damme is the biggest stoner in Hollywood. No joke, the biggest pothead in Hollywood. So like I ended up becoming sort of like the town. This was when I was 20, I guess. So I was like the talent PA.
How old are you now? I don't mean to interject. But...
I'm 26.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I was like 20, 21 back then. So I was the talent PA. So my main job was basically staying around Jean-Claude Van Damme and then talking to the director and bringing, as they called him on set, JC up to set and blah, 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 making sure he was happy and everything like that. Anyways, so every time they were like, new setup, give us 20 minutes, Jean-Claude Van Damme, like within the second, had a big fat fucking joint in his hands, dude. He was smoking it up.
Yeah.
And his trailer, he just hotboxing his trailer all fucking day. And one of my favorite memories from that set is the director was like, all right, we're going to do a new setup, going to be half an hour. So I bring Van Damme back to his trailer, and he gets in there. He starts smoking a joint. He's chilling, right? No more than like 2 minutes goes by. The director walkies me and says, hey, Peter, can you, Peter's my actual name. Hey, Peter, can you bring JC up to set? And I'm like, oh, fuck. He just lit up this joint. He's not going to be happy. So I'm like, hey, JC, the director wants you back on set. And he just looks at me and goes, tell him to come to the trailer. And I go, okay. I said, JC says to come to the trailer. The director comes down and JC berates him. He just fucking yells in his face. And he's like, if you're not going to give me my 30 minutes to smoke my weed, I'm not going to fucking work for you.
What a prima donna. Holy shit.
Honestly, dude, I thought he was gay. He's pretty flamboyant. And then I was
dude, he's like, what is he? 55, 60, right? So I imagine all the testosterone has left his system.
He's 55, 60, and he's Belgian.
Yeah,
you got to think about that. He's Belgian. I legit thought he was gay, and then I met this other guy on set, and he's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Chris." I go, "Oh, hey." I was like, "What are you doing on set?" He goes, "Oh, I'm Van Damme's son. I'm his son." I was like, "Oh shit." I guess he's not gay.
That's funny.
His son's super cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, that movie sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
They
I don't
shoot
like
a lot of like the bad movies. Yeah,
I don't like to judge based on like IMDb scores or Metacritic like I'm looking at now. But just from watching the trailer, I'm just like, oh.
No, trust me. I've worked on my fair share of bad movies, but I kind of like it. For me, it's kind of like I don't really care if I'm not in any kind of creative position. It's just a paycheck.
A paycheck, and
Yeah.
you're the observer. You're seeing how everything works.
Yeah,
and then you're
exactly.
using that to develop your database for when you're working on your own shit. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That was. I have little experience in the filmmaking enterprise, but I can imagine that is vital to figuring out what it means to be a director on a project just by seeing it.
I can give some advice to people who are maybe like, I don't know, 17, 18, whatever.
Dude,
and they want to get
you could probably give advice to me, and I'm 24. You're good. Let us hear
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
So here's some like advice to like you're just starting off in the film industry. You want to know how like these big Hollywood films function. You want to know how these directors do it. I've worked for a lot of big directors. I've worked as an assistant to a lot of big people, and I've learned from the best. My cinematography mentor he was a cinematographer for American Psycho and Pulp Fiction.
Fuck yeah. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Andre Sekula.
Yeah, dude. I love that guy's work.
Yeah. Super cool dude. Based Polish man.
Yeah.
Not afraid to throw around a few slurs every now and then. Let me tell you that. Listens to Alex Jones. No joke. People in Hollywood are a little...
That's why I know it, dude. He's a cinematographer at Reservoir Dogs. Come on now.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs too. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. My writing mentor wrote Speed, the Keanu Reeves film.
Dude, that is part and parcel to my childhood. That fucking movie.
Yeah. So my mentor wrote that film. So I've been taught by the best, and what they sort of imparted in me was this idea, like, just get onto set any way you can. Like, if you want to learn how a movie is made, get onto set any way you can. And now I've worked crew on a lot of things. I've done several different things where I worked in art department. I've worked in the camera department. I've worked in basically every single department on all sorts of different types of productions. But one of the things I was working on commercials. Now commercials are great pay. Yeah. Let me tell you, like, you know those Air Force commercials that you see on YouTube all the time? Mm-hmm. I worked on those. Yeah, I've worked on a lot of big commercials, big pharma commercials as well, as much as I really don't like big pharma, but whatever. Pay is great. Yeah. But to get onto like the big Hollywood movies, one of the things you can do if you're gonna, but you have to treat this right. You have to treat it right, is to be an extra. Now, being an extra is not something you should make a career out of, and it's not something you should do for that long. Mm-hmm. Because if you do it for too long, people will know you as an extra. Right. And it's going to be hard to move up. But it's really good if you want to get onto a set and you want to observe how they light things, how they position the boom, how, what kind of equipment do they use? How does a director work with the actors? That is like literal, you're being paid. You're not being paid that much, but you are being paid to get onto these big Hollywood sets and see how they're made. Right. And if you treat it like that, you'll learn a lot. But don't do it for more than a year. If you do it for more than a year, you'll be known as an extra. You won't be able to move up.
Imagine being typecast as an extra.
Yeah, some people are. There are some semi-famous extras. Yeah. There's one guy that's been in, I don't know how many films, but yeah. And another thing is that if you're an extra in a film, don't put it on your IMDb page. It only looks bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So for you, as like working in the art department, or all the other positions that you have, are you on, like, did you get credits as well, or did you try to opt into like, no, I don't want that because I want to be the known, like, in the database as a director?
So on a lot of stuff, I opt to not have a credit.
Yeah, I would imagine I'd be the same.
Yeah. Because I want to keep my IMDb profile pretty curated to just my own creative works. Yeah. I don't want to be known as a guy who worked on this film or that film or whatever, as a PA or as an art department or whatever, because also when people look at that, they're like, man, he kind of worked in like all the different departments. He's not specialized. Right. Maybe he's not the guy that we want. Right. And really the thing is that I'm just a total nerd when it comes to everything filmmaking, and I soak up every everything that I, everything that I read, everything that I learn. But, and I can exist. I can work very well in all these different departments, but, the thing is that a lot of producers are midwits, so it's hard convincing them. Honestly, yeah, I've met a lot of these producers. Gosh, a lot of them aren't very smart. Why do you think there's so many shitty movies out there right now? You know what I mean?
Do you want to go into that? Because
yeah, I'll go into that right now. Yeah. Okay, so Nomadland fucking sucks.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I heard you talking about this in the stream on your stream. I like Nomadland.
I did not like it. I thought it was very superficial.
But
I thought,
for me, like to use just adjectives, it perfectly encapsulated the fleeting and diasporic nature of what it means to be a nomad, and the context of the effects of 2008 and 2009 economically on a lot of different middle-aged and older people. That that was very personal. It was very personal.
At the same time, but I want to interrupt you. At the same time, it romanticizes this way of life in which people basically are homeless and they shit in buckets. It does romanticize it.
I don't think it romanticizes it. I think it just tries to delve into what is the visual narrative of the reality of this, where someone is left to their own devices without. I mean, society has basically, you're no longer a part of the labor market. So
yeah, but here's the other thing, and maybe it's because when I watched Nomadland, I was really diving deep into Pasolini and reading a whole bunch of Pasolini stuff.
So that may have colored your view.
It might have colored it because I was reading a whole bunch of commie propaganda. But no, but this is definitely something I noticed in Nomadland. I would have noticed it anyways. Not that I'm a communist. I don't even know what my politics are, if I'm going to be honest. But it's like, so they're living free from society, right? But they're in cars. They're in these industrial machines. They're living off of processed foods. Like she's eating like top ramen all the time and whatever. Working at Amazon warehouses to make their money for the year. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it makes it seem like they're free, but at the same time they're still essentially a corporate slave.
Right.
Like, and that's how I was thinking.
That had to do with the narrative of the film too. Like, that was take it because you're so ostracized from the labor market. It's take it as you come. Take it as it comes. Apparently I'm having audio difficulties, so let me jump out of the call real quick and try and solve it real time. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
Cool. I don't know what that is. We shall see. My guest is the Kino corner on the left side. Okay, it might be my audio interface. Let me try and boot that back up. Hold on. All right. Does that sound better? Hopefully that sounds better. Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's jump back in that call. Smooth like butter. Cool. Okay. Okay. Great. Let me put your channel back in the description. So we're talking to Kino, the Kino Corner, and it's a pretty interesting conversation so far. So let's continue. So back to Nomadland. I don't know if you want to bring this up, but in the stream that you had previously, you were talking about how your conspiracy is that the director is essentially an industry plant. Yeah. Oh wait! They can't hear you. What the fuck? God damn it! No. Let's figure that out. Yeah. I think you're good. Okay, that's weird. Okay, we're back in it. Sorry about that. Right. No. Yeah, let me try and turn up your user volume. That should be better. I was having audio issues earlier, so no sound still. Excuse me? Okay. You know what? Let's I'm going to end the stream and then start it back up again.